November 27th, 2023. Just want to remind folks in the gallery that we will have budget hearings immediately following the council meeting. First up, we have 5 motions. We have one person here, M0667? I think it's 66. 66, 2023. Ms. Caitlin Elrod.
Hello, everyone. I'm Caitlin Elrod with the Executive's Office, Department of Community and Economic Development.
So Ms. Elrod is replacing Liz Walters on NEFCO. So we thank you for your willingness to serve. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
Nope, that's all.
Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you. We have four first repassage requests. 2023-355. We have Just Counsel Heidi Swindell.
Thank you, Heidi Swindell, Summit County Engineer's Office. This legislation addresses a request we received from Springfield Township. If you remember a couple council cycles ago, they asked for council's approval of their grant request to buy a wetland parcel in Springfield Township to protect Springfield Lake. Unfortunately, they did not get that grant, so they requested that we advance them part of their stormwater dollars that they're going to get when we start taking in the revenue for that program. We have a set aside that each of the communities that are participating is going to get. They would like to use their set aside early to buy this property. We worked with Brian Nelson. We're setting up all the accounts so we get the accounting right and make sure that, you know, once we start taking in that money, we do debit their account and don't give them twice the money that time. But other than that, we're okay with advancing the money to them. This is a great piece of property for them to own, and it'll protect Springfield Lake. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Swindell. Any questions from the council?
Is this piece of property helpful to the work that we put together, or that the administration put together on the 3 communities, Springfield Lake, Lakemore, and Peninsula, with the new stormwater initiative they're trying to look at? It's supposed to, I think, $57 million.
Is that the sewer project? Okay.
Does this help with mitigation with that?
Well, I can tell you it's going to be a wetland, and that is going to retain the water. And we're looking to do some restoration projects on this piece of land at a later date that would make it retain more water. And the more stormwater you keep out of the sewer system, the better it is. But as for specifics, I'm not sure if anybody is here from sanitary sewers that might be able to talk about. Okay.
We'll look into that.
Any other questions from members of the council? Hearing none, you give with that, Mr. Smith. Thank you, Ms. Swindell.
Thank you.
I'm going to skip 2023-35. Well, Aaron will be here in a second. 2023-357. We have Stephen Byrne to address council.
Hi, Stephen Byrne, Office of Information Technology. This is just as the description is. This is our contract for Zoom licenses. It's used across all the agencies, heavily implemented on the virtual courtroom project.
Any questions from members of council? Hearing none, you get with us, Mr. Donafria. Thank you,
Thanks.
Mr. Byrne. 2023-358. Mr. Montgomery to address council.
Thank you, Madam President. Phil Montgomery from the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget. The appropriation legislation is before council today. The first item is appropriating an additional $125,000 to the Board of Elections. When the general election ballot switched to being 3 pages, the printing cost was a little higher than they anticipated, so we agreed to add some appropriation for them. The next item is for the Consolidated Dispatch Facility out in Talmadge. Now that the dispatchers have transitioned over, we were able to project their payroll needs, and this is the remaining budget we believe we need for the rest of this year for that operation. The next sections under the Department of Public Safety are some new grant awards and adjustments. through on to page 3. And then the last item for $3.5 million is for sanitary sewer services, and this is a reimbursement from Stark County that they will then distribute to the various projects that have expended those funds. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. Any questions for members of the council? Hearing none, are you good with that, Mr. Donahue? Thank you. 2023-352. Oh, I'm up there. 356, sorry about that. David Burton to address council.
How you doing? David Burton with the Summit County Veteran Service Commission. Happy belated Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a wonderful time with their families. We are seeking to try to improve our security on site. We've decided to go with SACS Consulting and Investigative Services. We've reached out to Sheriff's Department, Akron Police Department, and those two entities was just too prohibitive for us. We got some other fields, other groups, but this group is really a good top-notch security firm. They've done municipality work. They've done riot control, I think, here in Akron. So we feel pretty comfortable with them.
Thank you, Mr. Burton. Any questions from members of council? Hearing none, are you good with that, Ms. Dickens? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Before we move into council meeting, is the county executive director address council?
Sorry, I tried to get down here before 4:30, but it didn't work. I got stuck on the phone. I just simply wanted to come down and wish you all a happy holiday season and a happy, healthy 2024. I know I'm probably going to see some of you between now and then, but I wanted to make sure that I got here to wish you and your families all goodwill and good health and prosperity in the coming year and during the holiday season. Thank you, everybody. We very much appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. We have tonight 16 first readings. We have 5 motions. We have 4 first read passage requests. There are no late filings, routine legislation on page 7 through 11. We have 4 second reads. There are no third readings. We'll now rise for the pledge, led by Councilwoman Gloria Rogers, followed by a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Schmidt. Here. Ms. Hyam. Here. Mr. Donofrio. Here. Mr. DeVitas. Ms. Dickinson. Here. Ms. Sims.
Here.
Mr. Woolhite.
Here.
Ms. Darrow.
Here.
Mrs. Rogers. Here. Ms. McKinney.
Here.
Ms. Walters.
Here. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for November 13, 2023? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Motions for Council M66 2023, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Caitlin Elrad, replacing Councilmember Elizabeth Walters and alternate Mark Potter to the Northeast Ohio 4-County Regional Planning and Development Organization, NEFCO General Policy Board.
So moved.
Mrs. Walters moved on M066 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M67 2023, a motion of council confirming the reappointments of Ms. Burnett Williams to the Akron-Canton Airport Authority Board of Trustees.
Ms. Hyams moved on M067 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M68 2023, a motion of council approving a travel expenditure for Councilmember Gloria Rogers in the approximate amount of $1,088.80 for her scheduled attendance at the CCAO Winter Conference December 5th, 2023 through December 8th, 2023, meeting at 402 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43215.
Ms. Walters moved on M068 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M69 2023, a motion of council approving a travel expenditure for Councilmember Rita Darrow in the approximate amount of $1,159.30 for her scheduled attendance at the CCAO Winter Conference December 5th, 2023 through December 8th, 2023, meeting at 402 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43215.
Mr. Donofrio moved on M069 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M70, 2023, a motion of council approving a travel expenditure for Councilmember Aaron Dickinson in the approximate amount of $837.52 for her scheduled attendance at the CCAO Winter Conference, December 7th, 2023, meeting at 402 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43215.
Mr. Wilhite moved on M070, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
First readings, 2023-355, a resolution authorizing an advanced disbursement of surface water management district participating community allocation grant funds in an amount not to exceed $97,500 for the purchase of parcel number 5109057, consisting of a wetland within the Springfield Lake drainage area located in Springfield Township and Council District 8 for the executive and the engineer emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-355.
Have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-355. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-356, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with SACS Consulting and Investigative Services to provide armed security guard services at the Summit County Veterans Service Commission located at 1060 East Waterloo Road in the city of Akron and Council District 6 for a one-year term for the period 1/2/24 to 12/31/24 in an amount not to exceed $74,400 for the executive emergency.
Have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-356. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-357, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Zoom Video Communications, Inc. as a best practical source for Zoom licenses for the virtual court project, as well as county operations for the period from 11/24/23 to 11/24/24, in an amount not to exceed $91,621.94 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety and the Office of Information Technology Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-357.
Have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-357. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-358, a resolution appropriating funds in order to meet projected expenditures for the balance of 2023 as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget emergency.
Madam President, move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-358.
Have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-358. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-359, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for the construction of Project Q166 Pump Station Number 36 replacement and force main improvements for an estimated total cost not to exceed $2,672,000, and to authorize the executive to apply for and execute a cooperative agreement with the Ohio Water Development Authority for a loan in an amount not to exceed $2,672,000 to fund the project located in the city of Hudson and Council District 3 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services emergency. 2023-360, a resolution declaring the failure in the gravity main sewer caused by sewer line breaks on Gorge Park Boulevard located in the city of Stowe and Council District 3, an emergency pursuant to Section 177.07A3 of the codified ordinances of the County of Summit, and confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Wingfoot Rental and Development Company in an amount not to exceed $178,169.11 for an emergency repair to the gravity main sewer for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services emergency. 2023-361, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional design service agreement with the Civil and Environmental Consultants, Inc. for the Tuscarawas River Watershed Study located in Council Districts 5, 6, 7, and 8 in an amount not to exceed $525,250 for the engineer emergency. 2023-362, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Kenmore Construction Company, Inc. for the Granger Road Bridge Replacement Project located in Bath Township in Council District 5 in an amount not to exceed $1,564,984.31 for the engineer emergency. 2023-363, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service design service agreement with Tetra Tech, Inc. for the Cuyahoga River and Little Cuyahoga River watershed study located in Council Districts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 in an amount not to exceed $352,858.34 for the engineer emergency. 2023-364, a resolution authorizing the executive and engineer to apply for federal surface transportation block grant funds, resurfacing project funds, transportation alternatives set-aside funds, and carbon reduction program funds programmed by the Akron Metropolitan Area Transportation Study in order to improve 18 projects in Council Districts 1, 5, and 8 for the engineer emergency. 2023-365, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Gator Construction, Inc. for the courthouse retaining walls rebuild project located in the city of Akron and Council District 5 for an amount not to exceed $89,777 for the Executive's Department of Administrative Services, Physical Plants, Emergency. 2023-366, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Montrose Ford at state term pricing for 2 2023 Ford Expeditions and a total amount not to exceed $100,635 for the Executive's Department of Community and Economic Development, Emergency. 2023-367, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Summa Health as a best practical source for the Valor Court Expansion and Enhancement Project for a one-year term for the period 9/30/23 through 9/29/24 in an amount not to exceed $77,952 for the Court of Common Pleas General Division, Emergency. 2023-368, a resolution authorizing the executive to sign intergovernmental agreements with the cities of Akron, Barberton, Cuyahoga Falls, Stowe, Talmadge, and New Franklin, as well as the village of Norton and Copley Township for direct indictment services to be provided by the prosecutor for a 2-year term from 1/1/23 through 12/31/24 with 2 one-year renewals at the amounts set forth below, and to sign a new 1-year agreement with 2 one-year renewals with the city of Twinsburg for the prosecutor emergency. 2023-369, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute the first of 4 intergovernmental renewal agreements with the city of Fairlawn and the township of Bath to provide beds at the county jail for inmates at a maximum of 2 inmates per day for a term from 1/1/24 through 12/31/28 at a rate of $158.79 per day per bed for the first year, with a rate increase not to exceed 2.5% per year for each of the subsequent years for the Executive's Department of Law and Risk Management, Emergency. 2023-370, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Optiv Security, Inc. for privilege account management for a 3-year term for the period 1/1/24 to 12/31/26 in an amount not to exceed $470,749 for the Office of Information Technology, Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt the routine legislation found on pages 7 through 11.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt the routine legislation found on pages 7 through 11. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Second readings, 2023-347, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Adult Guardianship Services of Summit County for the operation of the Volunteer Guardian Program for a 1-year term from 1/1/24 through 12/31/24 in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the Executive's Department of Job and Family Services, Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-347.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-347. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Oh, well, on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-352, a resolution approving and adopting the 2024 operating budget for the Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Services Board of the County of Summit and appropriating funds totaling $54,117,124 as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget Emergency. 2023-353, a resolution approving and adopting the 2024 operating budget for the Executive's Department of Job and Family Services and appropriating funds totaling $54,218,300 as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget Emergency. 2023-354, resolution approving and adopting the 2024 operating budget for all funds, departments, and agencies of the County of Summit and appropriating funds totaling $565,733,269 as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget Emergency.
Is there anything else to come before council tonight? Hearing nothing, we are now adjourned.
And we'll open up the budget hearings at 4:50. First up would be Board of Elections. Oh, are they? Okay. They want a minute to rest? Or?
Let me check on that. What number was it?
Sorry about being late. You're all right. You're not late. We were fast.
Okay, good. Well, members of council,
Okay,
thanks for
Lance
having
Reed
us.
and Pete Ziegler.
Apparently. Appreciate it. We were a little slow to submit our budget for this cycle, but we did get it turned in this past week. I think just with what we have on our plate for next year, I think we ended somewhere around, I think it was a difference of, looking at the wrong sheets, around 1.6 million difference. I did build in some items as it relates to capital improvements, though, just not sure what our timing is going to be for things. The Secretary of State has put some items in place for us to replace equipment for end of life for cyber security items. So a lot of things are now 5 years before end of life that we have to replace. So we've been working with our IT staff. It's potentially a $500,000 to $600,000 expense for this coming year. So there's some expensive items that we did build in, but we'll also look at obviously putting that stuff in for the capital improvements.
So if I could just add quickly, the way we work with Board of Elections is the numbers that Lance and Pete are talking about there is a difference between what's in front of you and what's in the proposed operating budget for council. And as Lance mentioned, a few of those items will come through the capital improvement program, which is out to departments now for submittal. We'll be bringing that to council on the normal January, February cycle. So some of what they're proposing will slot over to that budget. And then as per usual, we monitor throughout the year and work on any differences. So that's if you see the two numbers, that's the difference. Yep.
Phil, will the move over to town agenda take place next year or after the presidential?
There's a lot of moving goals.
Yes, there's a lot of moving pieces at the moment. Yeah.
That won't interfere with you guys doing the general election next year, or will it?
No, I mean, nothing will interfere with us holding the election, that's for sure. It's just a matter of figuring out where we are, I think. Yeah, where we are for next November. Yeah.
Yeah, council recently approved a grant to look at the architecture study and things like that. So a lot of the timing decisions will be based on that.
Poll worker recruitment and salaries, like I know every county seems to be always wishing they had more.
Yep, always.
Talk a little bit about how that's going and if this budget reflects whatever needs you might have for additional recruitment and training.
Pete, do you want to touch on that? I will.
Certainly. Well, we're in terms of what we pay, we're limited by the ORC. It sets, frankly, unreasonably small payments for poll workers, and we built that into what our request was. In terms of our recruitment, we're actually in a very good place. We've had no problems in recent elections, and presidential years do tend to see a spike in interest from potential poll workers.
Yeah, it seems like we see a lot of signups through the Secretary of State and I think other outside organizations pushing people to assist working the polls, which is very beneficial.
I was speaking with our coordinators today. They'd like to do a targeted mailing in some jurisdictions where it can be more challenging to find poll workers, but on the whole, we're in a very good place.
election, there was some problems with getting the information posted online. Is that something that's going to be able to be resolved? And is that,
The election results?
yes.
Yeah, so,
PDF, I know that's how you guys got the information out there. It wasn't a problem with the actual counts.
yeah, exactly.
To the public. So I was just wondering if there's anything on plan for upgrades or changes.
Actually, that's, well, the vendor we use for that, which is actually our electronic poll book vendor, 10X, yeah, it was a glitch on their end, which is why we pivoted election night to at least get the PDF results up so that people could see. We're actually talking with our election equipment vendor, Clear Ballot, about increasing some of the equipment we have as well to get the election results up a little faster. So we've actually been working with our IT staff ever since election night, and Pete and the IT team have put a plan together that our board just approved actually this past board meeting to buy some additional equipment to make election nights get up faster, and then we'll have to work with the electronic poll book vendor 10X with the issue they had for us on election night.
Mr. Chairman, so in terms of the move, are those dollar amounts reflected in this budget?
No.
Okay. So you mentioned that you're not referring to this budget, some capital.
No, so the Board of Elections has their version of the budget, and then this is the administration's budget. So we do factor, to Ms. Walters' question about the part-time poll workers and things like that. So we adjust salary numbers for the board based on whether it's a presidential year or a municipal year or statewide year. So this budget is reflective of all of that.
So those adjustments are in.
Those are those are all in there. Anything capital would be on his list and not ours. And then we'll do the secondary piece as part of the CIP that we'll bring to council.
Okay.
That's where all that capital stuff will factor in. And hopefully we'll have a better idea on some numbers to include anything for the move in the 2024 CIP.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions? Thanks for coming.
Thank you all very much. Sorry we're a little late. All right.
Chairman Donofrio, I believe that Sheriff Fothery is en route and would like to present her budget to council. If you would maybe choose to hear from Phil.
Well, now you've taken away my to wrap it all up line. Yeah, I can go ahead, and I know. No, it's fine. So to talk about the executive's budget, I took council's books that you've been receiving from the executive's office, which was 75 pages, and made it 2, so you're welcome. So essentially, the 2-pager that you have for the executive budget summary breaks the executive's budget, and this is the operations that fall under the executive's purview, so not just the executive budget in total. But the top section is the main focus, which is the general fund funded departments under the executive's office, and that budget proposal totals $12.1 million. And the bottom section are the non-general funds, so these are the building standards and the pass-through to the zoo and the all of the internal service funds, so internal audit and OIT and office services and things like that. So not really too much of a shift from last year to this year. A lot of the increases, at least, are on the personnel side. As council will recall, the FOP contract gave 4% GWI increases for this year and 3.5% for next year and 3% the year after that. So those are factored into this budget. When I talk about where we are with the general fund, so the financial update, I'll dig into more of those assumptions, but those are factored in here as well for the executive's office. I will send a revised version of this. If you notice the section under non-general fund, the HUD and CDBG don't have the 23 and the historical. That is because it's a munis thing. We went from a life-to-date fund for those back to an annual fund, and we need the consultant to merge those two funds back together. So I'll update this. So just essentially ignore the percentage line on the last column about percentages, but I will get council a new version of this as soon as the consultant updates that. So in general, I'd be happy to answer any questions about the executive's budget. A lot of what is in the executive budget I will cover in the financial forecast update, but I would be happy to pause there and answer any questions. And then if we want to let the sheriff go, I can do the financial update after that. So, but specific to the executive's budget.
Any questions?
Sure.
Maybe this is just a result of a project ending. Can you speak to the public safety comms line because it's such a huge decrease from 23 to 24?
So the public safety comms, this is our 800 megahertz radio and our consolidated dispatch program, not the facility. And so there were a lot of upgrades made to that software last year that aren't needed for 2024. So that's the primary driver. Sure. Okay. If you want to let the sheriff do her budget, and then I'll come back.
Yeah, next up in the hearing would be Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Bothery. How are you? Thanks for coming.
How are all of you? I ran across, so you got to. First, I want to start with thanking you. This last year, we have collaborated on a few things together, and I truly appreciate County Council being a part of that. We did a gun buyback program. We did a couple of them in the spring of this year, and Council was very helpful with us doing that as far as paying for some of the monies that we gave to the people who gave the guns. So we got a significant number of guns off the street, and I do appreciate the fact that you were all willing to participate with me with that process. Also, you know, each time that we come, the Sheriff's Office or we come in front of you, you have been amazing with your support of us. And I just want to let you know that the men and women at the Summit County Sheriff's Office truly appreciate that. My budget this year is not a whole lot of change. Probably the most significant change has to do with the medical contract. It's $700,000 more this year than it has been in the past. There's a specific reason for that. So the other company sent a lot of my inmates out to the hospital all the time. They didn't give them necessarily the care that I felt that they should have been giving them. When their contract was up, I spoke with the executive's office and asked for a proposal to go out for other companies to come in and take a look at. We had a few companies that came in, gave us proposals. We interviewed them, and we ended up with VitalCore. You have already approved that contract with VitalCore back in October. VitalCore, though, I believe that the difference in the cost of medications and the medical supplies and the company will more than pay for itself in that this company has more registered nurses that will be in our facility. Therefore, we will have more care done in-house and less care done at the hospitals. So we should reduce the amount of transports to hospitals for hospital care for our inmates. That's going to be a significant issue. I suspect that it'll take about 6 months for the transition to occur for us to start seeing a decrease in those transports, but that's going to be significant. In addition to that, the quality of care that this company has a history of, I suspect that that quality of care is going to be dramatically raised for our inmates in-house. In addition to that, they are working with me for our, it's called MAT, but it's medication for our opioid addiction inmates in our jail. So we are working together with them. They are very experienced in a few of these areas. So I genuinely believe that the quality of care of our inmates will dramatically improve with this company. So even though it's a significant amount of change, I think in the long run it's going to save us a tremendous amount of money in transports and in just a better care of the people that are in our facility. I would like to talk about our staffing. My staffing levels haven't really changed as far as who we have projected to have. But I do want to tell you that the cadet program that we've been running and working with this last year has been successful, and I suspect that it will continue to be successful. We are currently down 47 deputies. Now, that is from 69 earlier in the year. We're down 47. The cadet program, we have graduated two academies that we were able to bring in, along with some other transfers in, but we've hired 18 deputies out of those 2 cadet academies. We have another cadet academy that will graduate next week, and we should net another 11 in 2 weeks. We have 15 waiting to start the January academy. We have a waiting list for the April academy. We have to re-up the posting because it'll come down at the end of this year, so we have to put it back up. But we have a waiting list for the April academy, and we plan on doing 2 academies in July, starting in July, 1 full-time, 40 hours a week, and then 1 part-time. I suspect, because of the interest in the way that we are doing these now, I suspect that by this time next year, we'll be in a very good position. But by this time, 2 years from now, it's just going to be a 1-for-1 by then. We should be at full staff and simply be bringing in cadets to replace our retirees and anybody who resigns. Our resignations are still there. We still have deputies leaving to go to other facilities, other police departments, but that is beginning to slow down as well. So our staffing levels are looking very good with this budget as well. Okay? I know last year you asked about the jail renovations. I'll give you a quick update on that and then open for any questions that you may have. We had 2 major renovations going on. One is the HVAC and one is CCTV. CCTV is up and running. It started at the end of September. By all accounts, it is looking like it is being very successful. My staff are not complaining, and that's a big thing, But it looks like it's a good coordinated effort, and there are glitches with it, but they are minor. So the CCTV project that you've spent a couple $1 million on, it is up and running, and it's doing well. The HVAC project is a multi-million-dollar project. We have ran into a stumbling block. They've got a few issues that have been going on, and I've had Unit 4 cells, cell blocks C and D, shut down since May. 48 cells, 96 beds that I am not able to fill, and it is causing some problems with a backup in our intake area as a result. So as soon as the engineers figure something out with busting down walls, I guess we'll hopefully try to get that moving forward. Lastly, mental health. If you are not aware, Psychodiagnostic hired 5 caseworkers. Those caseworkers work with our inmates in our jail. Right now, those 5 caseworkers with the inmates in the jail have had a 75% of those inmates that are eligible for Medicaid. They have done the applications and started moving them on Medicaid to help with their medication and to help with hospitalization when they get out. 100% of the inmates who have been released from the jail that are in this process are in fact going with family, and it's been a good connection. 65% of the time, the case managers are still involved with the families. 50% of the program participants, the inmates, have had at least 3 appointments with either mental health or medical or opioid addiction services. At least 3 of them in the first 3 months of them being out. 94% of the inmates released have continued having engagement with their caseworkers. Less than 30% of those people have received new charges, and less than 20% of them have overdosed in 6 months. That has been amazing. And our Frederick Boulevard property, I know I've talked a little bit about it. We're meeting tomorrow, and hopefully that will we'll have a 16-bed facility for inmates who are released from the jail, who currently just go to the streets. Those homeless, mentally ill inmates will have a place to go and sleep, 16 beds, and caseworkers and continued care. So they won't, hopefully we'll get them in a good position. They won't be coming back as well. So although I have a $700,000 increase in medical, the objective is to address the health and wellness of the inmates in the jail. So if you have any questions.
I don't have lots of questions, but I do have just a comment. I certainly have appreciated just your visibility and having the opportunity to partner with you on a number of things this year. So just well done around that. I do have a question. I know we've done a great job of really targeting women in terms of recruitment into the department, but it feels like we still seem to be lacking in the area of racial diversity. So my question is on the academy, do we have a plan in terms of how we're recruiting those folks, and what do those numbers look like?
Yes, we have a plan for our recruiting. And although we are bringing in women, we are actually bringing in more of our Nepali, Bhutanese community. That has dramatically increased. So we are reaching out to the International Institute. We've been going to all the high schools. We've been to job fairs. We've gone to the National Guard and started recruiting through the military as well, trying to bring all of those in. But we've gone to all the high schools. We've been intentionally targeting. And we talk recruiting at all of our events. We have, even at the Faith and Blue that we did this year, we were trying to recruit there as well. So yeah, we're out and we're targeting every single area that we can get. But I will still say that at this point, more than 50% of the people that I've hired in the last 3 years have been women and minorities. So we're still not as good as what I would like to be, but certainly much better than what we've ever been.
So if you looked at your numbers in the academy in terms of African Americans in the academy, what are those numbers looking like?
I think we're getting maybe one or two African Americans. We usually are getting at least one female, and we're getting one or two Bhutanese or Nepali in those groups. So probably 40 to 50% of the classes have been minorities.
I can't remember what you said the numbers. In terms of the folks who are actually coming on as sheriff deputies.
When they go through the academy, they're already vetted. They're automatically going to, once they graduate and they go through the corrections academy, they're an employee and they're going right into the jail.
Okay. Thank you.
So you mentioned, I believe, 47 deputies you were down by. Are those, is that a mix of those that staff the jail versus those that are out in the community?
That's all of them. I am short deputies in patrol, court services, as well as in the jail. So my 47 is not just the jail.
Is the total number?
It's a total number. Unfortunately, I have spread the pain through every division.
Does it seem to be more difficult to find deputies to staff the jail compared to the other positions, or is it?
Yes, at times it is, but what I'm beginning to find out is some of the deputies that have been in the jail that have gone out to patrol are requesting to go back to the jail because they prefer it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a mix.
Okay. And then for the facility where those that struggle with mental health and homelessness, that transition facility, is there a maximum amount of time they can be there before they're out on their own, or do you have a time range?
So that's going to be ran by Community Support Services. They actually will run it, them and the ADM board.
Okay.
The two of them are the ones that are physically handling it because it's not going to be a correctional facility. It will be a place for those people to go. The caseworkers that are working with them at the jail start the process, stay with them, and will continue trying to get them to a home, whether it's reuniting them with family or getting them their own home. But they're starting everything. So those 5 caseworkers I talked to you about, they're working with them and they'll continue working with them. So a maximum amount of time, no, we're never, I don't see us ever kicking somebody out to the street.
So kind of a case-by-case basis and, addressing the individual's needs.
Absolutely.
And that is currently open?
No, but it should be opening up soon. We have a meeting tomorrow just to finalize what the last minute things are. But my goal was to have it opened before the weather gets cold. And today the weather's cold.
Well, you covered a lot of information, and there sounded like there were some really great improvements. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Lastly, so with the new contract with the company that was providing medical services to the jail, what is that staffing like?
What will their staffing be like? I don't know the exact number, but I believe that they'll have at least 2 to 4 on every shift, 24 hours a day. They'll have one person stationed down in intake for inmates coming in at the intake process, but they'll have anywhere from 2 to 4 medical staff constantly.
So when we say medical staff, doctors, nurses, LPNs?
LPNs, RNs, that they're real good with those. They're not, they can have an assistant, but they're really geared more towards an LPN or an RN. And there's always only one doctor that we deal with, but we have doctors on call through this company 24 hours a day.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So the academy is maxed out, I believe, at 30. The academy is a partnership with Akron University. So some of those 30 students, part of them are mine. The rest of them may be going to other police departments, or they may just be somebody's parent, a child that has decided to go into criminal justice. So not everybody that is in the academy is a Summit County Sheriff's cadet. But answering your question, we are maxing out the capacity of those academies 100% for the last 3 academies. Right. Nobody wanted to be a cop, but something has changed. That too.
So we're doing pretty good, Sheriff, on retention of those folks who complete the academy?
Absolutely.
So no one's pilfering from us and taking our...
We've lost 2, and quite honestly, the 2 that we lost, I was okay with.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I'll try to make this quick. So just to wrap up where we are with the 2024 operating budget, the budget before council totals $674,068,693, of which $151,994,128 is the general fund. To total up social services, which is ADM, CSB, DD, and JFS, that is $258 million just for those 4 agencies and social services. We have the motor vehicle gas tax fund at $13.7 million, and all other funds are at $92.9 million. So there was another document I had sent out last night called a general fund summary. It was a 5-pager. So that is the detail of the essentially $152 million for the general fund, which is inclusive of the executive's office, the sheriff, the fiscal office, the board of elections, and all those folks. So I won't belabor any more on that unless council has specific questions about the general fund, and I can hop right into the financial update if that's fine, or if there are any questions about the general fund in total.
So just, Mr. Phil, when you get a chance, could you send me the FTE to this?
Yes, we are finalizing a total countywide FTE report. I have it in all the sections right now, but we're trying to summarize that. So as soon as it's finished, I will get it
Thank
over.
you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so a little bit ago, I sent out a financial update for council. This is the 5-pager that I bring to council a couple times a year. So this is through October 31st. Going through page 1, the first 3 pages is a summary report of all of our general fund revenues. And just to highlight a couple, now there were a couple of things that were timing issues that would normally post in October and didn't post until November, so I'll update a couple numbers that aren't on this sheet. But our real estate property taxes for October showed $22.2 million, or down 6.34%. That's one of those timing issues. Typically in October, we get a homestead and a rollback allocation, and this year's was almost $1.4 million, so that's why that's a little short. So we're going to break even on our property tax collections. Sales tax continues to hold strong. We're at 3.45 year to date at $48.7 million. Property transfer tax, we expected that to go down. People aren't refinancing as much as they used to be because of where the rates are, so that was to be expected. Our casino tax revenue is about break even. Hopping down to the last section, you'll see our defense of indigent reimbursements are up 21% for the year. That is because the reimbursement rate from the Ohio Public Defender's Office is at an all-time high for counties. Local government tax, this is another one where there was a timing issue, so there's $633,000 that is not included in that cumulative total through October. Next page, we have our charges for services. So Akron has fully paid their jail fees for this year, so it's up to 2.5% that we contracted. Our auditor fees are showing down on here, but there was some adjusting that needed to be done in terms of timing issues, so that'll really be up about 16% for the year. Clerk of court fees are up 15.26. Recorder fees are down, which was to be expected with the housing market. Treasurer fees are up 2.5%. Hopping down to the last section, our parking deck revenue rebounded for the month of October, but we're still about 15% down for the year because of where the status of hybrid work and things like that, so we're not having as many people park in the deck. And then on the third page, the only number to talk about here is our investment income. And so you can see that last year through October, we were at $3 million, and this year we're at $12.4 million in investment earnings, and that's purely the impact of the Fed's rates. We have through the fiscal office, we manage a pretty good bond fund where a lot of our liquid cash is in there earning some good dollars, and where we need to keep cash on hand, we try to open some what are called STAR accounts that just provide a better short-term interest rate. So all in all, I see that the size of the numbers broke our calculations, but overall, you see our estimate for 23 was $3.5 million. We are 350% above that already so far this year, and we still have 2 more months to come in. So on the report, the summary on the bottom, the cumulative for October shows 133, say 0.5. That is not including the $3 million in adjustments that really hit in November. So if we looked at what should have been, it would have been $136.5 million. The 2 numbers you see under the less advanced, we advanced sanitary sewer services $8.5 million for them to true up some of their funds while the revenue collections came in. So they repaid that. So to take that anomaly out, we backed that $8.5 million back out of the equation to show where the general fund truly ended up. So we are looking through October to end with $128 million in activity on the general fund. The next page is the 1-year forecast. I won't really spend any time on that because I'm going to talk about it in the 5-year forecast as well. So that brings us to the last page, which is the current 5-year forecast. This was through It's through the end of the year, but it was done as of September 30th, so this was our best guess after we closed the month of September. So council can look in here. There's actuals from 2019 through 2022. The current forecast we have for 2023 is to end the year with $153.4 million in revenue and $153 million even in expense. So that's our best guess right now. You can see in here for the general fund that our forecast for 2024 shows $151,556,000, and our estimate at the time for the budget was $1,051,994,128, and our estimate on here was $151,944 is the budget for in front of council for 2024. You can see back in September our guess was $151,707, so we weren't too far off. So we're only showing using a couple $100,000 of reserves. We always budget for about $1.5 million of reserve usage, but we don't ever use it because of attrition and things like that. So this is right in line where we normally would budget for the year and where our forecast looks for the 3 years after that. And down at the bottom, you'll see the revenue assumptions. So we have property conveyance tax continuing to decline for a couple years. Under sales tax, we're being a little conservative, showing a 1.5% increase for 2024 and then 1% for each year after that. If we finish 2023 where we project, we will show an increase in sales tax of 2.9%. Looking through property tax, we're factoring a little bit of growth given the new revaluation. And then going through the expenditures, I mentioned earlier the baked-in GWI for 2024 is 3.5% to follow the FOP contract. We did have to increase healthcare premiums by 10%, both on the employee and the employer side. Our employee benefits fund, we hope will level out with this. We're working with our consultants. We, in the switch to Cleveland Clinic Acton General, some of the billing methodologies and things were a little different, and we started to hemorrhage a little bit in that fund. But we have worked to right-size that on the financial model, so that we hope that this will be the last double-digit increase to healthcare premiums on our side. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you can see the impact of the presidential election on the Board of Elections budget. We added $820,000 to their salary and benefits to cover those part-time poll workers and the overtime that comes with that. And then we lower that back down in the other years. And then 2 to 3% on all the additional items. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. We're in good shape. When we walked into 2023, we had baked in some recessionary measures on some of these items, and we didn't need them. So we are at an all-time high for sales tax, and our investment earnings are just kicking butt right now. So happy to answer any questions.
Do you know offhand, do we still get reimbursement from the city of Akron on building standards and weights and measures?
There's a combination in the building standards department, and there's some shared responsibilities with plans and permits, like we share space with them and we're required to provide it. And so there's still an ongoing deal with the city of Akron.
I don't know if most people know the Star Ohio that Phil mentioned. We were the first county in Ohio that actually invested, I think it was $5 million, and it was all collateralized in the state of Ohio. And it was for all counties, I believe municipalities, so they could have access to money easily. And she then was Mary Ellen Withrow, was then state treasurer, and then went on to be under Clinton, I believe, the United States treasurer.
Yeah, I think about half of our ARPA funds are sitting in the STAR account, so about $50 million. Our base bond portfolio is a little over $300 million. We've got some other separate portfolios. Metro Parks has one, and then we have a portion of the ARPA. So we set some of the ARPA money into the STAR account to keep it liquid, and we put some in the bond market, about $50 million in the bond market. That we can switch off as we spend, because as council knows, we got to spend ARPA money in the next 2 years. So we will flip some of those investments so that way we keep those funds liquid as we pay for them. But we have a pretty good investment portfolio.
I'm sure this is a quick answer.
Sure.
On the J.C. Federal breakfast and lunch, there's like a quarter reduction in expenditures. Is that where just spending?
No, this is only revenue. This isn't the expense
No,
side.
I'm looking at the general fund revenue report on the first page.
Yeah, no, it's revenue, not expenditure, and there's probably just the timing of when it posted.
Okay, so the cumulative October 22 to the cumulative October 23 is,
we've collected a little less revenue, and I'm guessing there's probably a November transaction that happened that I didn't
It's
catch
not
because
in
it was
there.
a smaller dollar amount. I'll look and get
Yeah.
back to you on that.
this was a quarter of the funds. I was just kind of wondering, that's a huge reduction.
Yep, I'll double check that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thanks. Appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you.
I just want to say congratulations to Councilman Smith on the clean lions across the street. We're as excited to see that. The courthouse kitties.